Hi, good afternoon. Yesterday evening, I was asked to represent the Alliance for Change to go and to declare our objection to the recount in Region 3. So I went there and I spoke with the RO and I gave him the grounds of our objection. However, understanding the pressure that he was under, because you could see the reaction of the PPP people, I simply witnessed one of the... So the one box that they rechecked, clearly the issue was already identified with their polling agent. It was an issue where the ink from someone's finger went on the back of the ballot and it was rejected. Now, apparently the presiding officer made a mistake of putting a Q also on that rejected ballot. So it ought not to have gone into the rejected envelope, but with the votes for the PPP. But the polling agent reported it very accurately, and they knew that the whole issue was about a single vote. And on the basis of that, they decided to open 30 boxes, full recount on the 1 and partial on the 29. So this was entirely irresponsible on the PPP's part, because they knew precisely what took part there, what took place at that polling station. So it wasn't a case of where it could have occurred at multiple levels, but they used that as an excuse to delay the results. And this is very disturbing, because it is clear that there is a marked reluctance on their part to even want to give up what they held all these years as a majority government, that they really do not want to be accountable and to work with the other parties. We can only hope that the behavior that we saw displayed last night will change when the results come out, and if indeed they are a minority government, that they will reconsider how they operate, that this type of irresponsible behavior needs to stop. Because that simple thing that happened last night, it could have repercussions once you're delaying the results. Because as both of our leaders were saying, tensions are high. And really it ought not to have happened last night.
We are not prepared to endorse any perceptions, views, or opinions of the APNU, except to say that all of these events, as Gerhard pointed out, do give rise to a perception that the PPP seems to be able to jerk GCOM's chain whenever it wants to. It is strange that the PPP in particular would be calling for recounts, knowing that they championed the law and the cause for the statement of poll to be posted outside of the ballot place, and to be the final decision. I mean, coming after 1992 and the electoral reforms, once the statement of poll is displayed after the ballot is cast and certified, we were almost told that that is the holy grail in terms of results for elections. So strange that this is the party now that is calling for nationwide recounts. We believe that it's really a filibuster. Why? I don't know, to hopefully get something in place. But I'm not prepared to comment or to endorse any APNU position, because I don't know the context in which, or we don't know the context in which it was necessarily made. But we do have our own perceptions.
Checking to see, I know that most of the parties, if not all, would have people on the ground, and of course, I don't know if you folks are panel, the word that they should take note of the close of poll, the statement of poll, a matter of fact. Did you have people like those on the ground, and what were the figures that you got from those people?
Well, we did have people, but not at all polling stations. We had hiccups. Persons did not turn up, even though they were retained to be present. In Region 5, Mr. Ramjatan had to personally intervene when about 150 of our polling agents were locked out for want of a certificate of employment. He dealt with it via the chairman of GCOM. So we did not have at all, but as you know, there were over 2,000 boxes, and the numbers, as I said at the beginning, are still being tabulated. So I wouldn't want to go into numbers at this point in time.
Okay. Now, I don't want necessarily to say that you have conceded that you will not win the election. So put this into perspective. You're saying about your position in the elections at present. given the information you have regarding the numbers, that you don't see yourself as winning the election, but you see yourself as holding the balance of power.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
therefore,
correct.
With that in mind, given the fact that the results of GCOM, the GCOM is not presented the results as yet, is there any statement you want to make to the public regarding the need for peace or whatever it is in relation to the results of the election? Is there any statement from AFC?
Well, we continue to ask all Guyanese to be responsible, but to also be vigilant. Only today I had cause to put up a very well-known old quote that the eternal price for liberty is really vigilance. And if we are not a vigilant people, we will not get liberty that we so desperately seek and are deserving of. So even in the midst of this vacuum, possibilities arise for manipulation, for thwarting the will of the people. So whilst our results are showing one thing, we still call on the people of Ghana to be eternally vigilant to safeguard their gains. We certainly will be. Our process of tabulating continues. We are continuing to interface with GCOM. We delivered a letter to GCOM this morning, for example, demanding to have copies of the statements of poll of the boxes that the PPP has asked to recount in. We'd like copies of the certified statements of poll by GCOM of all those boxes, because we are very concerned. So our vigilance continues. We ask the people of Ghana to await GCOM, even as we ask GCOM to speed up its process and to be more responsible. We call for peace. Guyana needs stability, it needs peace, and we are saying that given what we see, we are about to enter into a new threshold, or step onto a new threshold of better relations, better governance, and even a better day for Guyana.
Question from this side, just to be sure, I know that there is no thought major, at least before elections, there was no major conversation regarding coalition. So, we would want to say having an agreement with any other political party. Are you folks thinking about having any agreements with any other political party at this time after the conclusion of the elections and the results are presented?
Right now, there's no discussion. There have never been any discussions with any of the other parties prior. There are none ongoing now. But as I said, we expect that all of us, once we have been elected to Parliament, will be responsible leaders and will sit and do talk. But in terms of having agreements with one against another, we are not prepared to do that. We are prepared to act in the national interest by speaking with all that are elected. And at this stage, it seems that 3 parties will be elected to Parliament, to the National Assembly, and we are prepared and are ready, willing and able to sit with both the APNU and the PPP to talk about what is best for Guyana and for, of course, Guyanese. But not making any deals or arrangements or agreements with any one party in particular, no. Anything else? There's a serious storm. Okay, it would appear that there are no other questions. So thank you. And let me just say that we've been quite impressed with the media coverage and the responsible nature or behavior of the press. So we'd like to thank you and ask you to hold for just a few more days in your statements, not responding to rumors, and to be, of course, mature and not give way to taking partisan positions at this point in time. Thank you very much.